over the Knicks.
Got offensive rebounds.
Jerry, down the stretch, your bread and butter guys, John and
Pardon me, I'm sorry.
John and Karl had rough fourth quarters. Can you just talk about that?
Well, you know, I don't know what we shot from the free throw line in the fourth quarter. I don't think we shot a lot of free throws, and part of that was because I don't think we took them on inside like we could have, and to be able to get to the basket. And that's what you got to be able to do. I thought there was a couple of times we might have done a little bit better job, but we relied, I thought, on the outside shot, and a couple of times we got in too big a hurry. You got to realize what they're taking from you, and you got to execute off of that. And I thought we looked for the long shots a couple of times a little bit too soon. We had a couple of dunk shots if we moved the basketball, make the right play a couple of times off of whenever they were doubling us or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. We've seen that for 10 years. People got different philosophies as to what they call it. I don't know.
Jerry, you were talking about the mathematics before. We all know what those are. But can you talk about personally the frustration you have right now?
I'm not frustrated. Why would I don't play. I think our players may be a little bit upset. You know, I think they would like to play it a little bit better. Hopefully they will. I tell them I think the most important thing is I hope you can learn something from how important it is to play intelligently. You know, I think that's been one of the things that we've been able to do. But when you can't do that, then it's very, very difficult for you to win. I'm not upset. The game's over. And I still have both arms and both legs, so I'm going to try to fight them again next Friday.
Coach, with 2:51 left in the third, you bring out your centers and bring...
I'm sorry, I can't, I'm having a tough time hearing you, and I can't...
With 2:51 on the third, you left, you bring out your centers and bring in one more shooter and eliminate Pippen from floating. Why didn't you do it earlier in the game?
We were trying to eliminate Pippen from floating in the first part of the ball game, but we couldn't, what we thought was an illegal defense probably wasn't. Cost me $500. So, you know, I probably made a mistake.
Jerry, could you say something about the second part of the Jordan-Pippen tandem, the job Pippen did opening it up with threes and his total game and defensive game, whatever?
Well, I thought he was terrific. I thought if we, you know, had there been about 4 or 5, there was about 3 possessions. Like I said, if we go ahead and finish with dunk and maybe get a 3-point play on, make the right pass, we had plenty of opportunities. We had some things there that I didn't feel that bad about. I mean, this is a great defensive team to play against. Pippen is very, very difficult to play against. But like I said, when we started the ball game off, I'm going to say that again, we started the ball game off the same way the other night. After going back and going over the things that they were trying to do, when they run that guy to you and you don't respond to it, and now you're back to square one. Well, they're too good to be back to square one when you got 10 seconds left on the clock. Now you got to hurry a shot a little bit more, and they had us hurrying shots because we didn't react. And we should have had what we felt the same way as it was in game 3. We should have had a couple layups if we now you back to square one with them, and I don't think they're going to run and double quite as much. But they are terrific players, and we aren't taking anything away from them by saying that. We just felt like that had we done a little better job, but that maybe they had something to do with that.
Jerry, over here, the call at the end, Malone and Rodman got wrapped up with each other. What did you think of that call?
They called a foul on Karl, didn't they? What am I supposed to think? They called a foul on Karl. I didn't see all the thing that happened. They called a foul on him, so Rodman made his free throws, and that's just part of basketball.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions.
Coach, you started Adam Keefe tonight. What came with that decision, and your thought on the play of your 3 centers tonight?
Well, Adam Keefe has played pretty well. It's been difficult because we played against a lot of huge centers, and the other series we were involved in, so he didn't get an opportunity to play as much. He started 70-some ball games for us, and so we put him in there thinking he might be able to guard Kukoc just a little bit better to start with, but then he got a couple fouls. We had a tough time rebounding, but we were hanging in there. We're getting some rebounds too, and he was getting some of those, which he's been able to do. Our other centers, I thought, were really slow reacting to what was happening offensively, and that's one of our main problems all along. We said from game 3, the first 2 plays, if we react a little bit better, we should be shooting layups. But again, you got to give them credit. And I thought he played fine. One more? Yeah. Hey, Bob, how you doing? I didn't know you were still in Chicago. All right, nice to see you.
As the roving center fielder on defense and the outside shooter on offense, can you assess Pippen's total effect on tonight's game?
Well, he was sensational. He started off sensational. He did a terrific job getting in the open court, pulling up and taking the three-point shots, and he got into a great rhythm. We had a very difficult time trying to guard him. Defensively, he puts tremendous pressure on you. We realize that we have to be perfect almost in a half-court set because we don't really have guys that can overpower you. We don't have overpowering guys, so we got to try to make the right play in order to get the ball in the right situation. And he caused us a lot of problems. I think everybody's aware of that. We're aware of it. We knew that right from the beginning. We had trouble with him every time we played. And I don't know what more you can say. You can put him on any player on the floor, and he's going to do a terrific job defensively. If you get a guy going a little bit or you get in a tough situation, that's a great luxury to have. When you got two of those guys, it's pretty difficult to get good shots. So you really have to be precise in your execution, and we weren't quite there, and you have to give them credit.
Okay, thank you, Coach Sloan.
Former Chicago Bull and current Utah Jazz head coach Jerry Sloan at the podium as the Bulls beat the Jazz 86-82, and they lead the series 3-1. An important stat, a note on that stat, no team has ever come back from being down 3-1 to win the NBA Finals. Recapping some of the numbers, Michael Jordan had 34 points. Scottie Pippen had 39 points, correction. Scottie Pippen had 28 points. And on 9 of 18 shooting, Karl Malone 21 points and 14 boards. And Utah is 0-5 on the road in the NBA Finals the last two seasons. Taking you back out live to Chicago, the United Center, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, Phil Jackson.
We had a struggle tonight. Our shooting wasn't there outside of Scottie Pippen coming in and really lining it up from the three-point line, giving us a good jump in the ball game. We struggled. Their defense was very good, and we had to find a way to struggle to win that ball game, and we did it through the offensive boards. The much maligned Dennis Rodman had a wonderful game for us, and as usual, takes himself out of a hole and plays well enough to redeem himself again. And Michael found a way to score down the stretch when we were really struggling to find some baskets. You got to give Jazz a lot of credit. They came back in the ball game to tie it up, and really fought their way back into the game. They manipulated their screen roll in a way that it made it difficult for us to find an easy defensive rotation, and they got themselves some easier hoops tonight.
Okay, questions?
Coach, talk about Scottie's quick start. I mean, he kind of jump-started you guys.
Well, we really value that shot that he can make on a transition when he, saunters up to the line and knocks down that three-pointer. And it went well for him early in the ball game, and it took a load off us a lot to have that luxury tonight. In the course of the game, I think we won every quarter, tied 2, and that's really the key, is just to keep chipping away at this ball club. This is a ball club that, unlike Sunday's game, plays it close to the hilt, and their execution's what counts with them. And we were able to probably out-execute them down the stretch, and that was the key to the game.
Coach, could you list some of the specific ways that Dennis contributed tonight?
Well, more than anything else, his defense on Karl was great. I thought Luke had a hard night tonight. He struggled. Probably most of the baskets that Karl got came off Luke. Dennis did a job on him and played the screen roll well, helping and recovering, because we had to go back to a stricter form of defense against the screen roll. And then his offensive rebounding was really the key for us at the other end of the floor, finding a way to get some rebounds and then going to the line, and really was our most reliable foul shooter tonight.
Bill, were you surprised they didn't go deep more? Because they started early and they went in deep into the low post, and they never really got back to that. That's when they're most effective, obviously.
Well, we'd like to play Luke on Karl, because that is one of the ways we can eliminate his post-up strengths. But Luke got himself displaced and out of position by being fronted, and they were able to drop the ball over the top to Karl. And we brought Dennis in, who fought him on the post, and they moved him out. He moved out and tried to take him outside, which was to our advantage tonight.
Phil, you're up 3-1. Can you talk about the confidence level this team has right now? I am sure you're not about to declare victory, but can you talk about, with the type of team you have, the type of experience they have, how confident are you that your team can win it all?
Well, we're confident. They have to beat us 3 in a row to win this series, and we know that that's a pretty difficult task for any team. The other thing is that we want to win it on Friday, as they want to win desperately on Friday. I thought they came out and were more physical than we were tonight, and we had to move it up to match their physical nature. And our effort is to come and play with the fury that they're going to play with on Friday night, because that's what they're going to come on this court with. And we know that when this team plays hard, there's no other team in the league that can play quite that level.
Coach, here. When Dennis came in, Karl had already 11 points. And throughout the 3 last quarters, he only put 10 more points. You already talked about the other things Dennis did today. Do you expect him in practice tomorrow?
There's a $10,000 question for you right there. Yeah, I expect Dennis to be here tomorrow, and with bells on. We won't be doing much practice, but we'll have the press at 12 o'clock, and I think Dennis will be here. Well, Dennis just found a way to take I thought it was their screen roll more than anything else, and slide, recover back to Karl, make him have to hesitate a little bit for a shot. He hit that deep shot at the end of the ball game. That was about it that he hit on Dennis. And his quickness out there really mattered to us. When we have a situation where we can throw 2 guys of different nature at a guy like Karl Malone, it's a real luxury. Luke, with a big body, just didn't have that quickness and that anticipation that he normally has tonight, and Dennis was able to fill the gap.
Phil, you didn't seem all that bothered yesterday by Dennis. Now, is today why?
Well, Dennis likes to back himself in a corner and then come out of it with, shining laurels. And, he wore it tonight. He was able to make the plays down the stretch, and typically, got himself in a situation where he had to prove himself, which he does.
Coach, after 4 very defensive-styled games, would you consider Scottie Pippen the MVP up to now?
That's your call, guys. That's not mine. For my situation, it's hard to merit, who would be in that position. And I really don't like to think about it until we're finished. But I would say that between Michael and Scottie, you got a real tough choice.
So were you planning to post up Michael Jordan as much as you did, or did that come out of necessity when other parts of the offense weren't getting good shots?
Well, we wanted to go and attack the basket. That's really our format that we want to have. And whether it's in our offense out of a triangle, strong side, or weak side post-up situation, we want to get that ball inside. And Michael had a struggle tonight. I thought Anderson played him well from that position. And he had to move around and had to displace him, had to come to the basket from his post-up position. And he found a way. He kept finding a way to get back to it. I think we're going to have to make some adjustments on that for the next game, though.
Phil, any thoughts on the fact that tomorrow Friday's game could be your last at this?
I don't want to think about it. Not right now. I'll think about it Friday night when it's over. But right now, we're hoping that it's the last. We're hoping that this is our final game of the season.
Phil, your offensive balance is pretty much predicated by Scottie and Michael.
Yes.
Throughout the whole night. And one thing that I had kind of noticed is that Luke kind of struggled on the post a little bit, and particularly with the big size advantage on Karl Malone down low. Is Luke kind of running away from his offense, or because he's concentrating so much on defense, he's really not looking to score or take a shot inside?
Well, I just didn't think he got involved in the ball game early. He just didn't get any shots. He wasn't involved in the offense. Scottie obviously, came out, guns blazing. And Michael got a little bit of a start. Tony and Luke just kind of were on the back side of it. Harp had his opportunities and had a better second half than the first. But we just didn't get everybody involved in the offense tonight. And that was, part of it was out of necessity because we wanted to keep this game tight and close, and we played mostly for percentages.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions.
Coach, you didn't use Tony Kukoc much outside on Greg Foster when he's at his advantage. Instead, he took him to the low post, and he wasn't a weapon on offense. Was it your call or just the flow of the game of Tony?
It was just the flow of the game. I thought, the matchups that started the game with Adam Keefe on Tony, was really, to match up with Tony so that he couldn't step outside and have advantage and a player that's not comfortable playing at him at that position. Tony just didn't get involved in the game as early as he normally does with the advantage he has in mobility and ball handling skills. And then nothing seemed to kind of flow for him from there on out, which isn't too unusual. Tony's a quick starter. If he starts well, usually he finishes well too.
Okay, last question. Okay, thank you, Coach Jackson.
All right.
Phil Jackson, the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. Now, I'm sure he just slipped. He didn't want to give Utah any bulletin board material, but he said, I'll think about that on Friday when it's over. I'm sure he meant if it's over on Friday. No team has ever come back from being down 3-1 in the NBA Finals, and tonight a lot of things you could point to as to why Utah didn't get it done.
Exactly. Jazz 1 for 14 from three-point range in this game. Karl Malone held to just 1 basket, 3 boards in the final 12 minutes when they really needed him. He disappeared. Stay with us. We'll have more from that news conference right here on ESPN News.
Riverdance. It's sweeping the U.S. with sold-out performances. Now you can experience this symphony of sight and sound for only $19.98. That's a $5 savings. Don't miss your chance for the original Riverdance. It's only $19.98. Order now.
Discover the amazing hitting secrets of America's finest baseball school in Teaching the Mechanics of the Major League Swing 2. Tommy Maskey's powerful teaching video that features the same revolutionary techniques that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches have been simply amazed at their students' rapid week-by-week improvement. These award-winning techniques benefit players of all ages and ability levels and make a valuable addition to any coach's library and a great gift. At just $29.95, call now.
$100 billion, or the X Games will be destroyed.
Wake up, Lugenstein.
Sorry, baby. Daddy's got to go to work. The name's Stein. Lugenstein.
This summer, Daryl Thompson goes ballistic.
You're too late, Luge boy. The X Games are doomed.
What a way to go.
The X Games, coming June 20th.
God save us.
So, what are we going to do today, Matt?
Shave it off. All of it. Just.
Okay.
It's just this dandruff. It goes away, comes back, goes away, comes back.
Well, we can take care of that.
Head and Shoulders?
With regular shampoo, flakes can keep coming back. But Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes before they start. You may never see flakes again.
And your hair looks great.
Glad I didn't do something stupid like shave my head.
Head & Shoulders changes dandruff problems into beautiful hair.
We dream them, we draw them. We drive them in circles. We are car people. We are bodybuilders, lifeguards, track stars, and matchmakers, all working to reach the same goal. Our passion is building automobiles. Our challenge is making cars and trucks people count on. We are the men and women of General Motors. We are car people. General Motors. People in motion.
Let's catch you up on a little baseball. In the bottom of the 7th inning, the Dodgers leading the A's 1-0. But the story here, Matt Stairs breaking up Ismael Valdez's no-hit bid with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Valdez was pitching a no-hitter until 2 outs in the 7th inning. Raul Mondesi for the RBI single as the Dodgers lead 1-0.
Back out to Chicago, more live press conference coverage. Scottie Pippen at the podium.
No, it's not. Comfort to you or something.
No, it's not. It just looks that way.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Not really.
Next question.
We're just trying to get through one more game, and that's pretty much it. Then I can stick it in a trunk.
Scottie, given Dennis's performance, is the performance tonight why you guys didn't worry all that much about what he did on the off day?
Yeah, I felt like it. I mean, we didn't want to make a lot of Dennis. I mean, I think the media took it and carried it a little bit too far. But, you know, we're in the NBA Finals, and Dennis must know that he's going to draw a lot of attention to himself when he put himself in that position. You know, practice is pretty much demand right now. You guys travel a lot of miles to come here and see the players, and he realized that he needs to be on the court. But, you know, Dennis is going to make his own decision, and, you know, when game time come, he's still going to be Dennis. He knows what to do, and, you know, tomorrow we won't hear anything else about this.
Scottie, what was the attitude like after the game in the locker room, and what did you see was the key to the win tonight?
Well, I felt like it was our defense. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well. We didn't shoot foul shots particularly well. But the key has been throughout this whole series that we've been able to play defense and make them turn the ball over, and especially in the fourth quarter. If we can limit their offensive opportunities, then we feel in control of the game. But our move after the game is just win one more, pretty much. I mean, we didn't get too overconfident. We realized that this team still is looking forward to having 2 games on their home court. So we can't allow them to steal a win out of our building.
Scottie, I was wondering if you could talk a bit about the confidence level. You've been here 5 times before. You've always been able to win that last game. Can you talk about the confidence level of this team, knowing that you've been here before? And also, when you've won it 5 times, how badly do you want it a 6th time?
Well, we want it very badly. I mean, we wouldn't be in this position if we didn't want it. And you have to come in with a lot of confidence, but you don't want to come in overconfidence. The Jazz, they're playing good basketball, and we realized from a team standpoint that they are sending us through a very tough series. It may not look like it when the results are in, but the game is very tough, and both teams are starting to get a very good feel of one another. But as I said, our defense has been the key for us, and we've caused them to turn the ball over in some critical situations, which have hunted them, and that's sort of what cost us in Game 1.
Scottie, your ability to freelance off the ball on defense and leave your man, are you ever surprised Utah hasn't come up with more of an answer for that?
I don't know what the answer could be. I mean, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm catching Stockton in a position where he's not able to see the whole court. I have a good size, nice wingspan, so he has to respect my quickness of being able to attack him with the ball. But on the other hand, you know, they've tried a lot of different guys in the lineup. So it's not about them finding answers. It's about them finding the right person out there that can, you know, make me pay for having to come over and double team.
Scottie, how did Adam Keefe's starting change your approach on defense? And as we asked Knightley, how tired are you after tonight?
Well, Adam Keefe, I mean, when you look at Foster, you look at Ostertag and Adam Keefe, you know, they're all 3 different players. They all play different ways from an offensive standpoint. He's the guy that's going to dive to the basket and look to, you know, get a layup or get an offensive rebound. So I had to be more focused on him once the shot went up to not allow him to keep the ball alive. But, you know, looking at the stat sheet, he still was able to keep some balls alive and get a few offensive rebounds. But, you know, he's not a great offensive threat, and I was pretty comfortable leaving him tonight, as well as I've been with Ostertag and Foster, and not to insult him in any way, but, you know, I knew that they're not guys who are apt to take quick shots, and Utah is a team that's very patient, and I'm going to take my chances and put the pressure on them to have to take the big shot.
Scottie, Chicago seems to be dominating Utah more easily this year compared to last year's final. Has anyone thought that the difference might be that last year your foot was hurting and that you were maybe only at about 60% compared to this year when you seem to be at like 110%?
That's a pretty good answer. I mean, you want to look at it that way. I mean, I struggled through the series last season. There was a lot of things I couldn't do. I wasn't as aggressive offensively, but, you know, I was able to make it through it. And I think Brian Williams being here helped us out, but I wasn't 100% last year, and this season is a difference, and it shows from a defensive standpoint.
Scottie, your offensive rhythm has pretty much been there this series, but tonight it seems to be that you felt your rhythm early and you were really in the offensive flow. Did you kind of sense tonight this is something you need to take on your shoulders a little bit more, with Utah going to be a little bit more aggressive coming out on the defensive end?
I wanted to come out and be much more aggressive offensively. That was my mindset, but it's always been attack them and go to the basket and open up the lanes and try to find shooters. But tonight they gave me a lot of open looks at the basket, and as long as I got the green light to take the shot and I feel comfortable and feel like it's got a 50% chance of falling in, then I'm going to take it. But it was something that, we had to ride on to start the game. I was shooting it well, and I just continued to look for my shot.
Scottie, Karl Malone didn't even score his 2 points in the fourth quarter until about 8 seconds left. He only got off 3 shots. What were the defensive keys, and specifically, how well did Dennis play him in the fourth quarter?
I think Dennis did a good job, man. I don't know how many shots, opportunities that he got, but, we got a very good feel of this team, especially in the fourth quarter, how we want to stunt them from a defensive standpoint. We try to give them 2-3 different looks defensively, and, they don't know what to expect late in the game. And if we can keep the ball out of his hand and Stockton's hand, then it limits their opportunities of being able to score. I mean, we can't give all the credit to Dennis being able to just defend him, but I think from a team standpoint, we want to put the pressure on other guys and make them have to step up.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions for Scottie.
Scottie, Dennis has been pretty vocal in saying that if the officials just let me play, I'm going to be able to take Karl Malone. How much leeway do you think the officials have been giving him, particularly the way he played him in the fourth quarter?
Well, I think they've given him a lot of leeway. I think they've allowed him to go out and play. I mean, we all know what Karl game is about, is playing physical and throwing his body around and getting to the foul line. We've limited those things of allowing him to get to the foul line 15, 20 times a game. And if we can limit him to 6 foul shots a game, then I think we're doing a pretty good job defensively. And I think Luke and as well as Dennis have a very good feel for Karl, that if they get him off the blocks, they have a better chance of defending him.
Your defense was very good. You were controlling the boards, still had no fast break point. Is it a choice, not trying to run and trying to get more deliberate, or what?
Who didn't have any fast breaks? We?
Both, yeah. It's 6-0.
Well, I think if they were there, I mean, we would have taken advantage of them. But, I think when you look at the Jazz, you have to give them credit that they made some adjustments not to let us have an easy basket. That's something that we've tried to focus on against them, is to not let their transition game get going. But they had some big baskets tonight in transition.
Okay, thanks, Scottie.
Sure.
Okay, Michael Jordan will be in the room next.
Michael Jordan will be coming in the room next. Okay. Scottie Pippen with 28 points, Michael Jordan with 34, as those two score almost 75% of their team's points in this one. Also, Dennis Rodman, 14 boards. That's his best game of the series so far.
3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. No team has ever come back from being down 3-1 to win. And this, if Chicago can get one more game, will be the first time in their 90s run of championships they've beaten the same team in back-to-back years. They've never done that before either. So quite a bit of stats to talk about from tonight.
And also, no home team has ever won the middle three, right, in the 2-3-2 format.
That's right.
So there you go. Lots of firsts about to happen. And we're going to hear from Michael Jordan in Chicago, from the man himself. When we come back, these two guys are going to go and watch Michael and put their feet up and all that other stuff. We're coming right back.
Sometimes you just have to want it more. When more points comes down to more passion. When you'd rather wound your body than your pride. When getting to heaven means going through hell. And either you have it in you or you don't. Gatorade, is it in you?
Lovely, lovely comets shooting through my sky. Way down south. Charlotte. Sting prepares a fly. Can you sting the coming? I don't know, but you can try.
Right now
The Bulls have taken a 3-1 lead over the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals, winning by 4 points tonight. Michael Jordan had 39 of Chicago's 86 points.
Michael, your last 2 baskets were resulting of you backing down defenders in the post and scoring on layups. Was that a result of you kind of struggling with your shot a little bit tonight?
My rhythm was pretty screwed up tonight, if I can say it in that way, and I couldn't do anything other than to make easy shots, and Mama said it was going to be days like this. I just didn't want them to happen today, Scottie came out and got us off great. He shot the ball very well. I was really fighting a certain power, I guess, to find my rhythm, and then I was able to get some easy shots. When you're struggling from the perimeter, you try to find some easy shots, and my follow away wasn't falling. My jump shot seemed to be off, and my free throws was totally off. So I had no choice but to try to get easy shots and do other things, rebound, do whatever. And we had a great lift from other players. And although our bench got outscored 30-8 or something like that, and our defense held strong. When we can't score, then defense really is the only area that we have to focus on, to keep the other team from scoring when you can't score. Offensive rebound, which rebounding is something that we've tried to live with, and we had no choice but to live with.
Michael, right in the middle here.
Sure.
Scottie was asked what he was feeling going into the next game, which could be his last, and he said he was looking forward to getting the game over with, winning it, getting the uniform, and sticking it in a trunk and never wearing it again. What are your thoughts? It might not only be your last game with the Bulls, but your last game ever. You've sitting on the fence a little here, and obviously it's a thing that the world wants to know.
Well, the world basically is going to have to wait and see what happens. I look at the game as a must-win, for us to go out and lay it on the line. Play like it's no tomorrow. Sure, I understand Scottie wants to take his uniform and put it in the trunk. I want to take the uniform and put it in the trunk too. They give out new ones next year or whenever or wherever. But I just want to end this season. It's been a long season. It's been a lot of different roads, different turns. But somehow we're ending up in a great position, and we're in control. Now it's just up to us to get our minds mentally prepared to go and finish this job, and believe me, when it's finished, we'll do a celebration, for whatever it's worth, we'll do a celebration. But the job is not done, so let's not celebrate yet.
Michael, Dennis plays only a minute and a half in the first quarter. Luke's pretty much on Karl exclusively. Karl goes 5 of 9. Dennis plays Karl almost exclusively in the fourth quarter. He goes 1 of 3. What's the difference in the techniques of those 2 players on Karl, and why, with Dennis you see the size mismatch, why that's not as much of a factor?
Well, I don't know if it's a technique or, just Dennis's attitude about playing crucial situations. I can never figure this guy out. I won't even start. One day he's wrestling, next day he's defending. And we have come to live with it, and move forward and not really try to dissect this individual, because I don't know if he is an individual, but somehow he's always ready to play the game of basketball, and especially when the time is really, of essence. I think he went to Detroit to put pressure on himself, to come out and play the game with a lot more competitiveness, I guess. And for an individual that needs to do that to get himself ready to play a game, you have to commend him, but yet, you have to stand back and look at him and try to dissect him and understand him. But it's no understanding Dennis. As long as he steps on the basketball court and does his job, it's hard to argue with him. I know you guys probably was waiting to write a bad article about him tomorrow. But the guy steps up and makes 4 free throws in the closing minutes. What else can you say about him? I mean, he may go play, he may go and wrestle tomorrow. I don't know. He may not show up for practice. I don't know, but he seems to excel in adversity. And, we've come to grips with that. And, I mean, it's amazing.
Michael, could you talk
Is that a
about...
good enough answer? I don't know.
Michael, could you talk about the way Scottie has routinely changed games throughout this playoff with his defensive pressure and how it has changed the focus and helped you?
Well, I think, Scottie's done a lot in terms of relieving some of the pressure off of me. Defensively, I mean, he's a key component for us. He's a rover, and we give him the authority to do whatever he wants on the defensive end. We just, we cover his back, and he can disrupt anybody's offensive rhythm. And tonight was a great example of that. I mean, we gave him the freedom to move and roam. Yet the last game he took charges. Today he was just in the way, and that's a strong characteristic to have on a team, and then he can go down and knock down a 3 or bring the ball up the court. I mean, he's so versatile in a lot of things that he can do for us, and I think that's one of the reasons he's so valuable to us. And for me, it takes a lot of weight off of me.
Michael, I'm wondering if you could talk about, you've been to this point 5 times before, 1 game away from wrapping up a championship. Can you talk about the taste maybe you feel right now being so close? And the second question I'd like to ask you, if Friday is the end, can you talk about how good a ride it's been for you here?
Well, I saved the second question till Friday. Okay. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but right now, tonight was like an appetizer. Friday could be the entree. We have to get ourselves ready. We got to maintain a certain hunger. We can't fill ourselves up with just an appetizer. And sure, there's a lot of young guys who've never been in this scenario before. Scott Burrell being the #1 guy, my pet project. You got to make sure he doesn't lose sight of the entree. Don't eat too many of the appetizers. And this job is not done. We can taste it, sure. We're in control. But we still have to finish the job. And finishing the job, even in a couple of the championships that we've won, has been tough. I think in game 2, we had to come out in the 4th quarter, and fight back. So I mean, it's been in situations where we've had a work cut out for us to close out, and I don't anticipate anything being different on Friday. We just have to be focused to finish it.
Okay, one last question.
Michael, to their credit, neither John Stockton nor Jeff Hornacek has used nagging injuries or age as an excuse. But from your perspective, do you think that those two have slowed up a little or are a little less explosive than in years past?
It's not for me to worry about. If they're on the court, they're dangerous. If they got the ball in their hands, they're dangerous. For me, anybody that dresses out and steps on their basketball is 100%. And I would expect the same if people were looking at me. If I step on that basketball court, sick, injured, or whatever, you view me as 100%. And ask me that question after we win Friday, and then I can say, well, the whole series they didn't look healthy, or they lost a step or 2. But right now, they're healthy the way I look at it.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Great.
34 points for Michael Jordan. His team, 86-82 winners over Utah to take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. Game 6 is Friday night in Chicago. When we return on ESPN News, we'll go back out to Chicago to hear from the Utah Jazz as their season is slipping away.
You perfected your game plan in Cleveland. Had everyone talking in L.A., then fell off the face of the earth in Aruba. In over 100 locations, where there's a Wyndham, there's a way.
It's a howling, sports fans, as the alligators host the octopi. Now, the lineups.
Get him a beer.
No! Zima!
Zima.
In Chicago, you met with investors. In Atlanta, you met with the board. In Palm Springs, you met with the tall, frozen glass. In over 100 locations, where there's a Wyndham, there's a way.
Jazz lose again tonight. Let's go back out to Chicago as promised and hear from Karl Malone.
On Friday, it's do or die. We know that. So I think we played well in stretches tonight, and I think at times we didn't. So.
Karl, you seem to have more success against Luke Longley than Dennis Rodman. Is there any distinct differences that's causing your game to be imbalanced as it's been over the series?
Well, I don't think so. Everybody the experts now. I have opportunities to score on Dennis as well as Luke, and I just haven't. It's no excuses. But I think in a situation like this, all you guys have all the answers. So, I don't know why I answered that myself, but.
Karl and John, to be in this situation, do you look back and say that it's probably because of the layoff, or is it all Chicago?
No, we're not. Oh, go ahead, Stock. I done answered all of it. Well, no, we're not going to use 10 days off as an excuse. We never have and we never will. And Chicago playing well, but I think that we've had opportunities with the exception of maybe the one game, we had opportunities to win. So, 10 days layoff, no. If we win those two games, we up 3-1 instead of down 3-1. I don't think we'll look for an excuse then, and we're not going to look for one now.
Karl, you're obviously a great competitive person. You wanted to be in a different position here. Can you express maybe right now the frustration you feel being in this position, which I know is, as you said, it's not the situation you wanted to be in at this point?
No, it's not the situation you want to be in, and you come out and, you work all your career to be in this position, to be in the finals, and you come out and you get ready to play every game like you do all year long, and maybe I need to try a little harder, maybe I need to do different things, but you can't start second guessing yourself right now. The game on the line on Friday. Only thing I can do now, and what we can do as a team is just get ready to play on Friday, because it is do or die. If we don't win this game Friday, the season over with. And I don't think that our intention starting the season off was that.
About the frustration you feel, you both desperately want to win a championship. It's a goal of every athlete. Can you talk about the frustration being in this situation right now behind 3-1?
No, it's not a good position to be in. I don't feel frustration right now. We have one game to play. If we win that game, it's a little different situation. We're going home for 2, and anything can happen. So, no, I'm not frustrated. I'm not happy about where we're at, but one win can change the whole complexion of it, and then we get to go back to our house and try to finish it off ourselves.
Stop. There were some positives. Could you talk about Shandon Anderson and Chris Morris, their play tonight?
I thought they gave us a lift there towards the end, just with the hustle plays. And I think Chicago's had some opportunities with Burrell and other guys coming in and making hustle plays that gave them a lift at a time or two. And tonight those guys did it for us, and we just weren't able to finish it off.
Karl, you had 18 shots through the first 3 quarters, pretty much all different types. Just 3 in the fourth. What do you think is the biggest reason for that?
Well, I don't really know. You can't, pinpoint it or whatever. It's like you stay within the offense. And I think sometimes when you feel like you're not getting a lot of shots, the next thing you want to do is start shooting out of the offense. I've stated it all year long and believed in what we're been doing as an offensive team, and I will continue to do that. And I'm not going to get caught up in how many shots I take in the fourth or how many I don't take. I've taken my share over my career, and I've taken plenty in the playoffs. But it's just one of those things.
Okay, one last question. Okay, no, thank you, guys. Okay, that will conclude.
Karl Malone and John Stockton perhaps will never win an NBA title. Now down 3-1 to the Bulls. No team has ever come back from that deficit to win an NBA Finals. Plenty more to come here on ESPN News, so stay close. Game 4 of the NBA Finals, Karl Malone's Jazz looking to tie the series up. And in the first quarter, Malone was on his game as he hits one over Luke Longley. Then Jeff Hornacek with the miss, but look at Malone. Good offensive rebound and tip. He had 11 in the first quarter. Utah down 2. Second quarter, Howard Isley turns it over. Scottie Pippen has the basketball, and Scottie's going to keep the basketball until he drains a 3. On the very next possession, more Pippen coming off the pick, set by Dennis Rodman, and he nails the jumper over Greg Ostertag. 16 for Pippen in the first half, Bulls up a half dozen. Utah stays in it. John Stockton drives around Steve Kerr and banks it in. Part of an 8.